Well, hi everyone, it's Markus and welcome to Zooming in the Jungle Room. I'm zooming all the way over to America, to Wisconsin at the moment, where I'm speaking to John Cooper. He is, of course, the lead singer of the band Skillet. John, how are you today?
Good, good. Has anybody else ever sung "Welcome to the Jungle" when they've come onto your show? They have, right?
They have, yes.
I say, you know what you want. They have to.
Yeah.
It's like a must. It almost actually feels like if you don't do that, there's something wrong with you. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying? If you don't sing it, there's something wrong with you.
you are a legend. And look, I mean, I've had all the assimilations as well, the Axl Roses. And do you remember the band in the 80s, Twisted Sister, Dee Snider?
Oh yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
I get it all. The jungle, the hair there. Yeah. But enough about
Yes.
me and my indoor plants, John. You are coming back to Australia, which is going to include Adelaide as well. Only in April, it's not far away. And you haven't been to Australia since 2018. Are you looking forward to getting back?
Yeah, it's crazy how fast that. I mean, it doesn't seem like it was that long ago. I think it's because that stupid couple of years from the pandemic. It's like a time warp or something, because 2018 was such a killer tour. It was so good, and for us, it was so big. We were like, oh my gosh. So we're gonna go back in a couple of years, I promise. And then this stupid pandemic messed everything up, and then week after week we get our streaming numbers, and like a good musician, I have to look and see what cities are listening to Skillet the most, like a loser. And every week I'm like, Australia's got some of our biggest cities in the world listening to Skillet. We've got to get back down. So we're going. I mean, it's going to be here before you know it. It's only about 13 days away. So
Yeah.
we've got rehearsal. In fact, this will be the first shows we played since December. So we have a couple rehearsals to make sure we don't suck, and then we're going to be coming back down to rock with you guys.
I'm so excited. So last time you did the tour, how did it go in regards to the Adelaide leg of it? Do you find your audiences in Adelaide like totally get into it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to remember right now. I mean, the whole tour was just so good. I think we were all sort of like, why is this going so good? I mean, that the end of the 2010s, I guess you would say, 2018, 2019 in general, were just so good overseas. We were all going, why is this going? Europe was the same. Of course, then it was Russia. Of course, that's a whole different thing, unfortunately, now. And then Australia, we were like, how is this going so good? So, yeah, it was really wonderful, and just looking forward to come back. And also, the food's amazing.
Yeah.
Nobody had told me how good the food was when you got down in Australia. It was really good.
Oh my God, it's insane. And I don't know how much time you get in Adelaide when you're here, but our wineries are just like next level. So if you got a day off while you're in Adelaide, you need to get down to McLaren Vale Winery. Epic.
Oh, I didn't know that. All right.
The best. I will take you down there. I'll pick you up in my Honda CRV and I'll take you guys down there. Hey, now let's get on to the past first of all. 12 million albums sold. You formed in 1996. So, I mean, that's a lot of albums. Over 12 million, obviously. You've been called one of the best-selling bands in the 21st century, which is no mean feat. 11 albums in so far. 2003's Awake, which was just like groundbreaking and just like set you apart from so many other people in the industry. And it spawns, Alive and Awake, Hero, and the huge monster hit called Monster, 4 times platinum. I mean, wow. When you look back at your history, you're like, you know what? We've really kicked some butt so far.
Oh, all of a sudden it reminded me of Spinal Tap, the film Spinal Tap. I don't know why. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Just they wanted to do a rock opera called Saucy Jack. They were like, when we look back at our career, we should have done one called Saucy about Jack the Ripper. I'm sorry. It's my ADD. You got me. You got me. Yeah. I mean, I think the biggest thing. I mean, I got to be honest. I never thought we would be a band for this long. I kind of thought, hey, we'll do the band, which I love. I love the music. It's fun. we'll do it for maybe 5 or 6 years. I didn't think anybody'd be listening. After about 5 years, I thought, I'm gonna do this for a few more years. It wasn't successful yet, but I thought, well, it's okay. We don't need to stop yet. I'm not done. I ain't done dreaming yet, you know? And we kept dreaming. And then the next thing you know, it was like, oh crap. A lot of people know who Skillet is. All it just like it's like it started selling without me even really knowing it. And I remember people coming to me going, "Are you that guy from Skillet?" And I remember thinking, it's been 10 and my band has been around for 10 years and nobody's ever known who we were. And so I think once we hit our stride, we weren't even really aware of it. So we're just blessed. That's a long way to say I'm blessed. I can't believe I get to do music for a living. Me and my wife have been doing it. We just celebrated 27 years of marriage,
Yeah.
28 years of Skillet. Yeah, high five it out. We've been together the whole time. I mean, it's honestly, I couldn't ask for anything more. And I get to meet fans that say, I mean, they say the craziest things. John, your song helped save my life. Your song is what the reason I went into drug rehab. You've helped me through my addiction. Every day when I want to go back to, fill in the blank, they say, I put on your music and I go to the gym instead. And man, I'll tell you what, it's the best job in the world when I hear those stories. So all that to say, I am so very blessed and so thankful.
1996. I mean, it doesn't even feel that long ago, but in hindsight, well, it's actually, coming up 30 years in another.
Oh,
Let's not
it's
go there.
crazy.
Let's not age. Let's not age yet. But when you were first forming the band, what was the kind of music that you were all listening to that really helped define what Skillet actually became?
That's a great question because it is a long, long time ago, and music is shifting at ever increasing speeds due to technology and all that, of course, now. At the time, to tell you the truth, I was really in love. A lot of people don't know this, but I was really in love with 70s arena rock, and prog rock. The band Yes, is my favorite band of all time. Yes, and Fleetwood Mac, Styx, and Kansas. And I know that's interesting because Skillet doesn't sound like any of those bands. That's not necessarily what I do really well, but that's the music I loved. And so what it did do is it sort of basically set a foundation for Skillet. The Skillet's always going to be a band with lots and lots of different kinds of influences. And that's the reason in Skillet's music you will hear some metal, you'll hear some classic rock, you will definitely hear arena rock. You most hear the arena rock in the like when we do the duets with me and my drummer Jen, she's the girl vocalist, and you can hear her singing and me singing. That's kind of like Fleetwood Mac to my brain, or Meatloaf. Um, but it's also kind of like Linkin Park, except that Linkin Park has a rapper and a singer, and we had two singers, and so it was the drama and the theatrics of that music into Skillet. So in '96, we definitely were more of kind of on the grunge, Nirvana, Bush, and those kinds of bands. But really, what I liked the most about the '90s actually was heavier stuff like Korn and Marilyn Manson and White Zombie and bands like I liked that industrial edge and the heavier stuff. And that's why within a few records we started implementing some of those electronics, and you start hearing Skillet sound a bit more updated and different. And so that's a long answer, but there you go.
I like your long answers. That's what we're here for. Now, your most recent album, of course, is Dominion, which is going gangbusters. And I mean, fingers crossed, hopefully we hear a lot of those songs from the album on this new tour. But so we've spoken about how, what you were inspired by back in the early days. So when you're producing music and creating music these days, with Dominion as well, what keeps you on track now? What inspires you, and gets those creative juices going?
Great question. The truth is it's usually my wife. And I know that I know it sounds silly for some people, but my wife of course she plays guitar for Skillet and she does all the keyboard programming. She's a brilliant pianist, just absolutely brilliant keyboard programmer. And she's a producer, so she's always listening to new stuff. So she's always like, John, you got to hear this. This is called Falling in Reverse. This song is awesome, and I hear it and I go, oh, I do like that, So she's always listening to current music and Sleep Token and all these things. She brings this stuff to me because she enjoys listening to new music. I am one of those lame old people that all I want to do is listen to AC/DC and Metallica over and over and over again.
Uh,
I don't want to listen to new stuff. So I'll rely on her, and she'll make playlists for me, and that's how I keep up with music. For me, I always kind of find what really inspires me. So that's the music side, but what inspires me is just my real life. Like my conversations with the people I love. My kids. I have two kids. Actually, my daughter gets married 1 month from when we come back from being with you guys.
wow.
So yeah, so that's pretty cool. So we're off into this new era of life, and talking to my kids about what they're going through, talking about how do they see the world, because young people see the world so differently than parents do, and I love those conversations. Or I meet a fan at a show and they tell me something they're going through and they say, your song helped me with this or this or this. That stuff feeds me, and so most of my songs I actually write when I'm on the road, because that's what most inspires me is the fans, and so I hear these stories and I go, I want to write a song about that, and then I leave it up to my wife Corey to make it current in terms of the sound, what sounds are current. That's her world. She's way better at that than I am. I think I'm good on the personal end. I want to know what people feel. Like, what are you going through? And how can maybe I write a song that can help you get to a better day, to see the light at the end of the tunnel, to see that you can we all every day we all have a choice, not to preach too much, but we all have a choice that you can choose to live in fear or you can choose to live in faith. You can do either one. And the pandemic taught us that, didn't it? The pandemic taught us you can't control pandemics and diseases, or government, or who gets sick and who does. You can't control that,
Yeah.
but you can control your own heart and like that mental health. Those, and that's actually what our record Dominion was about. It was about, you bring dominion to your own heart. You can't control that crap, but you do have something to say about your own mental health. Don't sit around alone drinking all year long. It's going to go bad for you. I believe for you that there's a better life. There's a better choice. You can make it through it. Do not give up. That's the stuff that I love to write about. And then I let my wife deal with the sound.
And John, I don't know if we all learned the lesson, but I mean, something that we all should have, taken on board over the course of, 2020 onwards is just be a little bit more kinder, obviously to yourself, but, to the world as well. Fingers crossed, the majority of us learned that lesson. I'm not sure, because there was some crazy stuff going on in the world. Hey, John, if you had the opportunity to collaborate with anybody on a new album or even just a single, who would it be?
What a great question. If I could turn back time, which I cannot, I would collaborate with Linkin Park before Chester died. I would have loved that. I never met Chester. I'm a huge fan. When I hear his lyrics, even now, I mean, I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what I think. That's exactly how I feel. I feel like he's singing the things that I wish I could say, which that's the key to writing a killer song. And that was such a bummer to me. I never met him. We weren't friends, so I don't want to make it sound like he was a friend of mine. But I'm really bummed. I'll never get that chance. And I would have loved to collaborate with him. Now, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I'd collaborate well with Metallica, but Metallica's the all-time best metal band in the world as far as I'm concerned. Maybe Korn. That'd be pretty cool. I think Korn is probably, in my opinion, the best living live metal band in the world. Korn is absolutely amazing. Breaking Benjamin. Does Breaking Benjamin do well down in Australia?
You know what? They've got their following, definitely.
Okay, yeah, I'm a big Breaking Benjamin fan, but there's a lot of new blood out there. Falling in Reverse is absolutely awesome, and there's so many new cool bands. So I gave you three or four. I'll keep it with that, I guess.
Well, you know what? I reckon a lot of these people would actually like to collaborate with you guys as well, because you guys are still smashing it, and you know, producing really good music. So I guarantee that these people would want to collaborate with you guys. Um,
Ah,
hey, let's fast forward right up to now. Obviously, like we were just saying, the tour kicks off in April, which is only a couple of weeks away. I think the week after Easter, actually. What can we expect from this tour this time around?
you know, this is every time somebody asks me that and I say it, I feel stupid, but it's just what people always say. They always say Skillet is so energetic. And I used to go, everybody's energetic on stage, but that's what people always say. I think it's like even when we're talking, like I can tell you're an energetic person. You love what you do. I love what I do. It's fun. We have the best jobs in the world, you know? I think that comes across from the stage. And so I'm always getting these social media messages, and people are saying, your show was so positive, it made me feel better about life. And I go, good. That's what rock and roll is supposed to be, man. You don't want to go to a rock show and feel worse about life. Come to the show, have a great time, be positive. One of my favorite things about Skillet, sorry, the Skillet audience, not Skillet, but the audience. Skillet audiences are very diverse, and extremely tolerant. And we have a real mix of very serious religious people, people who are like, I'm not religious at all, whatever, you know, people that vote and have very different ideas about politics. And I've always loved that. And then you also get the inner diversity of, because Skillet's music crosses a lot of musical genres, because we are kind of metal, but we're also kind of pop and electronica, and you have all these different things. And all of a sudden, people will be at the shows realizing it's okay to be in a room with somebody you don't agree with about religion or politics or anything else, and have a really good time, man, and give somebody a high five. And I get those kind of messages a lot. And I think that's my favorite thing about a Skillet audience is looking out and going, see, we're all humans. We all like music. Forget all that stuff for a few hours. Let's have some fun. And so that's what people can expect from a Skillet show. We'll play the hits, and we'll play some things that people aren't expecting and have some surprises. But what you're going to feel is positivity, and you're going to be like, okay, we're going to go in the world, treat people a little better than we treated them yesterday, I hope, as you said earlier, so wisely.
Hey, I'm going to ask you a question that hopefully inspires other people. You know, we do live in a crazy world. You know, there is so much going on. You personally, you're organizing a freaking wedding. You know, juggling, you know, a family. You know, raising a family. Creating music, going on tour. I would only assume you've got some form of a social life as well, and you know, doing all these other odd jobs around the way. How do you juggle all of this in your life, and how do you stay on track personally?
Oh, nobody ever asked me that, funny enough. Good question. Yeah, it is a lot to juggle. And I think for me, if this helps somebody, cool. If not, just ignore me. Um, I always just find like what are the things I have to do? Like what's the number one thing? Because a lot of times if you got a list of 5 important things you got to do, and you only do 4 and 5, but it's actually not the number one most important, then you need to rearrange. And so I learned years ago, decade ago, I was doing it in the wrong priority. I was doing all the business, doing all the touring. I really wasn't giving my kids the time that I needed to. And I remember thinking, do I really want album sales, or do I want kids that love me and grandkids that want to be with me eventually, you know?
Yeah.
So I just flipped it. You flip, okay, that's my most important thing. And if I give up X, Y, or Z, that's okay. I'd rather give up X, Y, or Z than A, B, or C. So I would just tell people that's what I've learned. It's actually based for people that care about this sort of thing. It's based on a Bible verse that I really love that says, "Seek first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and everything else will be added to you." And really, what that just means is you put the number one thing as number one. You get that right, and that sets a foundation for the rest of your life to be blessed. You'll find yourself content even if I don't have that other thing I was going for, because I have the things that are most important to me. That's sort of a put God first in your life, pray, do what you need to do, and then you find yourself content. And with whatever ends up happening in your life, you're prepared to face it. because you made the number one thing the number one thing. So that's my little piece of advice.
John Cooper, I'm on your train. Don't you worry about that. Hey, so Skillet, the Australian Tour 2024 kicks off, like I said, very shortly. The Adelaide leg is coming to Hindley St Music Hall on the 8th of April, which is not very far away, which is, I think, in about the middle of the tour. John, I cannot wait to see you here in Adelaide. I think you are just a beautiful soul, good vibes, and I can't wait to meet you after the show. We're going to do it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's very kind. Thank you so much. Yeah, come say hey to the band. The whole band will want to say hello and have some fun.
Awesome. Have an amazing couple of weeks of rehearsal, and I can't wait to see you in formed action when you get to Adelaide.
Woo, let's do it. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you, brother.